Welcome everyone to today's video. After I was a little bit surprised of the fuel consumption of the Porsche Macan, today we wanted to take a look on a brand new Mini Countryman SE ALL4 plug-in hybrid. This is the biggest yet fastest Mini ever produced, with a length of 4.30 m and a total system power of 224 horsepower, making for an acceleration of 6.8 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers or 60 miles. And the combined consumption is supposed to be as low as 2.4 liter, 400 kilometer of course combined when used with a hybrid system. Keyless access, and as usual for Mini, some playful details. The price for the hybrid Countryman starts at 37,500 euro. This test drive unit here is not as fully loaded, so I don't have the window stacker price, but I expect it somewhere around maybe 45,000 euro or so. Of course, with more options you get way higher than that. So inside it changed a little bit from our Countryman. Although I have to say, not everything to the better. For me this plastic chrome bling is a little bit too much, especially as much as here. And although the display is way bigger, I liked the climate vents of our Countryman more. They are round. In my opinion, the interior of our Countryman, especially the door area and such, and the dashboard here looks more stylish. But these are the small things, somehow nothing is perfect. Also in our Countryman, the start-stop button is here, and in the last and this generation they moved it here. I have to say, this looks really nice, that you can also operate from the style here. Compared to the Porsche Macan, of course, way less switches, although in my opinion enough, but this model is also not maxed out. For example, you can get it with a heads-up display that this test unit as shown here does not come with. And they also changed the audio and navigation controls here. So in our Countryman the tempomat is here on this side and audio is on this side. Now I would not mind this so much, although they changed the buttons. So now these are two-way buttons. Press it a little bit for 1 kilometer or mile up or down. Press it more and it switches 5 at a time. In my opinion this is slightly fragile. I have no problem with the one-step control in our one. This is always a little bit, you press it a little bit and it changes more or less than you want. These top switches here for reading lights and inside color controls are also like in ours. Although we don't have this nice sunroof that in retrospect I should have got for our one already. Aside from this glove box, they also changed this a little bit, I think. The seats, I think these are more basic seats. And as I said in the Porsche Macan video, the rear area there is a similar size. They also changed the parking brake, so this is no electric, at least in this model. We have a rather huge, what I call airplane one. I can show you maybe in one of the next videos. And here's the center console. They actually also changed this. We had there some aluminum profile flex rail thing. That was quite nice. Some universal cell phone holder. And control-wise, here you can directly switch to the parking sensors. So with this button you can switch between the electric mode, max e-drive, safe or auto e-drive. The safe obviously avoids using the battery. The max e-drive uses maximum battery. The auto e-drive is more the normal setting, which intelligently uses both. Air ESP off, and here you can switch between sport, medium or green mode, and also apparently configure this. I think I mentioned the display is way larger and more snappy with touch and everything. All the details we do not yet have.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
Yeah, way more snappy, way more colorful, and also faster than in the Porsche Macan when we routed to the airport. It routes here, I think, in maybe half the time than the Porsche Macan did. The only thing is, as you will see in later videos, as I drove already around, right now this is kind of visible where you should drive when the street is not as colorful for traffic jam as this. It is often not very easy to see where the route goes. Also, I did not yet find a way to have here a more visible display of the turn situation. So maybe this can be enabled there somewhere. I have not yet found it. Maybe you need to read the manual for that. But I managed to drive like this, just that there's the usual fancy navigation and then you just want to get out of it until you get used to it. So I would expect here some more arrows, left and right arrows. I have not found a way for this. Maybe here split screen, but I have not yet tried this while driving. Yeah, maybe onboard computer, I don't know, doesn't really look like this is what I meant. But anyway, I managed to drive like this, but it did not give the best overview in my opinion. Unless you can enable this somewhere. I liked our 6-year-old Mini Countryman navigation more for the overview of it. As I said already, the climate events I liked ours more, but this is a matter of opinion and taste. Light switch, cruise control, radio. I mentioned in general this is like how we had it, just that this is flipped. Also I would prefer the volume up and down and the station left and right. It's just the small things that I would find more logical, but that's how it is. This plug-in hybrid only comes with automatic, just a regular automatic gear lever, park, reverse, neutral, drive and manual up down. To our model they also changed here the location. The gas just opens in our one when you have the car unlocked, so now you have a button for this. And here's the engine. Maybe we take a look into that. Oh, you had to pull this twice. Now it opens. Of course, compared to our 6-year-old diesel-only Countryman, this is way more packed here. Also electric systems, more control units here, even the seat things. It looks to be a disconnect or something for the electric charge plug there or battery system. Yeah, much more tight, much more filled. Way more sophisticated, things spread everywhere compared to ours. But it's a price for this complex plug-in hybrid. So the trunk is probably slightly larger than in ours. This one has 405 liter volume because batteries and motor take a little bit more or so. Here's some net, light, charging cables, some other thing to fix something. There is a 12 volt plug for cooling box or something, or charging cameras or whatever. And of course you can fold the seats over for a total volume of 1275 liter. And also the seats are slightly higher in this one, so the total volume is some 100 liters more in the non-hybrid models. So these back seats are some centimeters higher than in the regular modules. So space-wise, as I mentioned, probably similar to the Macan. With the sunroof I hit my head there a little bit. Maybe that was also the reason in the Macan. Maybe the models without the sunroof have some centimeters more. Maybe, but here I hit it already slightly. But again, the seats are some 2 or 3 centimeters higher than in the regular models due to the battery under the seats. And this fold over like in our old Countryman with this straps there. You pull it and the seats fold over. And with this flat area you can load surprisingly a lot. And this one is 20 centimeters longer. So I would expect to fit more in this one. And also what I think our Countryman does not yet have is here climate event. So unlike the Macan, you can't change the temperature here. And 2 super modern USB-C charging ports. Something we also don't have in that area. And the usual mini handle and door situation. So I also changed the roof rails, which stand out more than in ours. In ours there is not a gap of air No idea why they did it, otherwise very nice looking car, I guess. And here's this charging port for the hybrid system, just a normal standard plug there. And it's the same on the other side for the styling and fresh winter tires. Of course you can get even more stylish rims as well. So sorry, that was the wrong color temperature on the camera for indoor use. Really need to remember to double and triple check everything. So let's drive around and see how that goes. Fuel consumption and acceleration wise. So I really like driving silently there on parking and cities and such. I really don't understand these YouTubers who need the loudest cars and straight pipes and such. I really find this really annoying, especially at night in cities and especially when I want to sleep. And so getting away with this electric engine is of course super snappy. All the torques there from 0 RPM already. And so let's find some German Autobahn here without speed limit, like here, and floor the pedal to the metal, and here that is actually quite a bit coming there, quite some power. Of course, neither in this nor the Macan you can drive faster than the traffic on the highway. So can't really get faster here. And yeah, but we're approaching 180, but I think this is not really faster than our diesel Countryman actually. The hybrid has a rated speed of 198 and so has our diesel Countryman, and only the non-hybrid S and SD now get a rated speed of 210 or so. But yeah, actually I was expecting from this combined power of 200 horsepower, I was expecting a little bit more than what we had, but yeah, that's a more environmentally friendly car, so I guess not the biggest surprise there. Certainly an area where the Macan is more shining, reaching 208 or 18, yeah, more easily than that. But yeah, 180, not that much problem here, but certainly not a race car and more for the environment. And I think more people should get cars like this that save a little bit more gasoline, and in the city you can charge it at home or at some shopping center and drive around with 30-kilometer range or so on the electric motor without any emissions in the city. I think that's pretty awesome and I can totally recommend it. And for sure it's super snappy as well here, getting away with 6.8 seconds to 100, and yeah, as you can see here, kicking the pedal. Of course this gasoline engine is way more snappy than our diesel one. Some details regarding the navigation. So here you can see where you should drive, more or less, but not really much details. And here you see where it is more difficult, where I think it's not very obvious where to drive, and also to differentiate the route with the regular streets, and somehow I can't find any detail regarding left or right. Somehow I find this slightly strange. Maybe it can be enabled somehow, but during my test drive I didn't find how.
Please turn left in 300 meters.
And by the way, also a great fan of regenerative braking here, charging everything into the battery. So at the end, where did we level in fuel economy wise? And I did not drive the slowest. You have seen I drove up to 180 and accelerated a few times quite a bit. So I'm actually surprised that we still managed down to just combined 5.8 liters. Of course, plus the 4.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer for the electric drive system as well. I did not expect this. This would be like half of what the Macan achieved, where we had more like 11 racing like this. So the hybrid system with the electric battery and engine obviously helped quite a lot. Of course, we are far away from the advertised 2.4 or what it was, but this is still quite a good number for this kind of faster driving we have done. And with that said, it's time to give it a rescore. As we find fuel economy most important, that is first, and we give it a 7. It is quite good, better than the Macan, but certainly they can do way better. Practicality, it's a mini SUV and you can fit 5 people with quite some luggage, so it gets a 6. Comfort, it is still a sporty car. I personally like the harder suspension and such, but comfort, it's a 5. Features, nowadays you can load minis with quite some features, but of course in more luxury cars you can get even more features, so we give it a 7. Quality is over average, but of course not the level of Rolls-Royce, so we give it 6. Styling you can quite debate. I personally find the previous Countryman slightly more stylish, so we give it a 5. Handling, minis are still oversized go-karts, and I find handling quite good, so it gets a 7. With the electric hybrid system, it gets quite some good accelerations, of course not race car speeds, but I think quite good, so it gets a 6. Cool factor, again, I find previous models slightly more cool and stylish, so it gets a 5. Overall value, I think you get quite a lot for this money. It gets a 7, for a total of 61 out of 100. I hope you found this video review and commentary helpful, and don't forget to share, like and subscribe for all the next videos to come.